Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarosinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarosinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton. With Mamma Mia, here we go again, balloting its way into theaters this weekend. We wanted to look at our top 5 musicals. No comments.
Yeah, you're doing good.
That's good, right? Mm-hmm. Balloting. That's a word.
That is a word.
I was skeptical at first, but when I typed it in, it didn't show me the red underline of being not a word. So that's the thing.
You're saying balloting as in like when you are taking votes to determine.
Yeah. We're trying to let Meryl run for president, as she should. No, balloting with a D.
Oh. Mm-hmm. All right.
As in like singing ballads.
That's right.
As indeed ABBA is noted for the quality of its ballads.
That's correct.
It's
apparently
it's disco ballads.
We're quite a big catalog to have unveiled yet another sequel to Mamma Mia with fresh songs.
That is apparently something that does not happen in Mamma Mia too. In fact, apparently it is several of the same songs.
Okay. Well, we can't get enough of ABBA. Another thing people can't get enough of is Ant-Man and the Wasp, still battling in theaters. And here at the Jarosinski household, we too are battling our own version of Ant-Man, thanks to Carrie.
What do you mean
thanks to you.
Oh, gosh.
About 8 weeks ago, we had a mild ant infestation.
Say 4 ants.
What is a mild ant? You know, if you see 4 ants, it means there's like 100.
Thank you. Yeah, so you see 100, and I said, hey, let's get a Terminator coming in here. Not the Arnold Schwarzenegger variety, but let's get
the
Terminator.
one who was in the lady one from 3.
That's right. Nice. You know, we don't need full Arnold.
We were looking for
Sarah
John
Connor
Goodman.
Is fine.
Looking for John Goodman also.
Oh.
Yeah?
I see what you're saying.
Sure.
But that is not the person in Is that Arachnophobia? Is that John Goodman in Arachnophobia?
Yeah,
I don't think that's John Goodman.
It's John Goodman. Of course it is.
No, I don't think it is.
Bet me $1 million.
$1 million. Here we go.
Will you stop complaining for the rest of your life?
It is not John Goodman in Arachnophobia.
Yeah. All right, keep talking about it.
I have very bad news, Rob.
Oh, damn it. Son of a...
I never forget a John Goodman movie.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Is it really John Goodman?
So you can't be rude forever.
Well, back to my story. 4 ants and Carrie's...
4 ants enter, 1 ant leaves.
Homeopathic treatment. Which is what, Care?
I did a little borax, a little sugar water on some cotton swabs. Very effective.
Very confident that this would work.
It did work.
And then what happened, fast forward, throughout those 8 weeks or so?
We didn't keep up on the regiment is the problem.
Mm-hmm. And what did we wake up to just a couple days ago?
We didn't wake up. Rob woke up.
Well, because I wake up first.
And then abruptly wouldn't tell me what was wrong, but was like, you need to come see this.
So it's something that can be said. It needs to be shown.
He's like, it's really bad. I'm like, it's something
you can say there's ants in the kitchen.
Yeah, no, he can't. He likes to be super dramatic.
No, this wasn't just ants that had come back.
They were winged ants.
Many winged ants making buzzing noises, trying to break out of our home to copulate and further their ant population.
Oh, gross.
They were definitely not doing that.
No.
What are they doing?
I don't know, but the ants don't copulate.
Well, no, that's what the winged. You send the winged ones mate in air, and then they.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah, they drop their eggs down in different spots to spread their pollination.
I think you are making up every bit of what you just said.
Is that right, John Goodman?
It's about as accurate as my John Goodman.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have an ant problem.
Arachnophobia?
Yeah, of
course. I haven't seen Arachnophobia since like 1990.
All right,
so
let's call John Goodman.
We will. So we do have a bit of an ant problem. Still going to attack it with a little borax.
We may not be here.
I think rubbing sugar all over every surface in your kitchen is definitely the way to take care of ants.
I put some under Rob's pillow.
I think that was the right instinct, and I think you should stick with it.
All right. Well, let's talk about some movies that we've seen since the last episode in our Worth Mentioning segment. What is worth mentioning of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We share them either way. Carrie, how many movies have you seen since
I've
last
seen
episode?
3.25 movies.
Okay.
I saw...
Was the 0.25 because you only watched the first quarter of Showa?
That feels like a joke that's over my head.
It's a really long movie, and it's a movie you don't want to watch in one sitting, and you should see it, and it's good.
No, it was Les Mis. But anyway, I'll get there later. So I saw...
Yeah, we've been cramming.
We've been cramming musicals. We've been trying.
Musicals not a...
I hadn't seen a ton. Yes. Hadn't seen a ton of them. So I saw 2.5 musicals and 1 full and 1 non-musical. I saw Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. this week.
All right, Tim, you.
I have seen 8 movies, of which none were musicals.
You were set.
You're all caught up, right?
It's in a literal sense, no musical that I haven't seen has anything resembling enough of a reputation for it to have made an end run for my list.
I'll see if I can poke some holes in that later.
We're gonna talk musicals. I don't want to go into it, but yeah, I saw 8 movies.
Okay.
Of which Hotel Transylvania 3 was not one of them this time.
Keep it that way.
I can't. It went to number 1. I got to see it. Oh. It's also animated. I got to see it.
That's true. So which one are you going to talk about today?
I think I'm going to talk about the animated film I did see this week, which is a new to Netflix release. It is a French animated film adapted from Jack London's White Fang.
Okay.
It has an English dub currently floating around on Netflix with the voices of Rashida Jones and Nick Offerman and Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
And it's so much better than it has any vague reason to be. Like, you tell me a French animated version of White Fang on Netflix, I have some very strong ideas about like what kind of unbearably shitty low budget animated film this is. And it is low budget. Like, that's one of the things about it. But like with a very sort of how can we make this a virtue? So there's this really fascinating art style, which is that the whole thing looks like basically like an oil painting, but it's also a CGI movie. So it's like all of these like oil painted looking wolves that sort of move in this 3D space. It's really beautiful. The story of White Fang, for those of you who don't know it, it's one of the like best selling books written in the last 120 years. Been made into several movies, but it's basically about this wolf dog hybrid born in Alaska during the gold rush in the 19th century, just making his way through the wild, crossing paths with various humans, including a Native American chief, including a prospector, including an unscrupulous like dog fight impresario, and just sort of how White Fang, the dog wolf, lives and bonds and like survives in a hostile world. I haven't seen every adaptation of the story. I haven't read the novel in like a million years, so I don't think it's very faithful, but it felt like it captured sort of the Cliff's Notes version of the story. Just a really beautiful movie, really good, like animated film about animals. I would say this is like a film that if you have kids and your kids like animals and they're okay with stuff that might get them a little bit upset, but not like
wounded animals.
Wounded animals for sure.
Mortally wounded?
Let me put it this way. The one mortally wounded animal is there's a scene where little adorable pup White Fang is chasing a little squirrel and it's cute. And then he's about to pounce on the squirrel and a hawk comes down and picks up the squirrel. And White Fang looks really shocked that this happened. That's the only time an animal like straight up dies.
Sure.
There's definitely stuff that's like upsetting, but it's upsetting in ways that like get better. Your children, I believe, are very high strung and would probably not deal well with
Alice
this.
would be fine. She'd be like Circle of Life. Alice or Abby would be devastated.
I do think like if I had a 6 or 7 year old who liked animals and was willing to deal with the fact like sometimes animals suffer, like I think this would be a great film to watch with them. Honestly,
very good.
Cool.
Definitely vote to watch with your kids. Netflix,
way to go!
Netflix doing a good film for a change, which is something that Netflix
and
is
it's actually called White Fang.
White Fang.
Okay.
Well, much like Carrie, I caught 3 1/4 movies, one of which was the number 1 at the box office movie, on track for over 40 million. That's where the numbers had it last for Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. Is that the movie you want to talk about, Carrie?
Yeah, I suppose so.
All right, let's go for it.
Yeah, so this is the new one that's out. Does anybody know? This one's directed by Gendy
Tartakovsky. He's directed all 3.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. And written by Michael McCullers.
I can't speak to who wrote it, but I can tell you that Tartakovsky is like a god.
A god
among animator people.
Interesting that this is where he's landing then.
So the backstory here, he did the first one basically as like one for you, one for me. And then Sony was like, what about 2 for you?
Right.
Two for us and 1 for you. And he was like, okay. But I get to make the Pop-In movie after this, right? And they're like, Nope. You get to make another Hotel
Another
Transylvania.
one. I think it should have stopped at 2. I don't
Right.
know, in my opinion. This is just my own personal opinion, but this stars Adam Sandler. You guys tell me who he plays. So Adam Sandler's in this, Andy Samberg, Selena Gomez, Kevin James. There's a lot of big names.
Yeah.
I did not recognize any of those voices. I only recognize...
I would say that Sandler is not doing anything to...
Is he Dracula?
He's Dracula.
Oh, well, he wouldn't know. It's disguised in a very Dracula.
It sounds like Adam Sandler with plastic vampire teeth.
Now that you say it a little bit. And then I recognized David Spade's voice. It was the only one that really jumped out at
Invisible
me.
Man. Frankenstein is Kevin James.
Buscemi is the
Buscemi
Wolfman.
Oh.
Andy Samberg is the human son-in-law, and Selena Gomez is the vampire daughter.
Oh, man. Wait, who's the daughter?
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Right? It's Selena Gomez.
Yeah. Selena
No,
Gomez,
she's in there
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
So the plot of this one, Drac is looking for some love. He's feeling a little lonely at home, so he wants to go online dating. His daughter, meanwhile, wants to help him because he's sad, and so she's like, you know what, you need to get out of here and like boost your morale. And so decides to set up their family.
They go on a cruise. Yeah, they go on a cruise. And this is, the stories of each of these are pretty weak. I know for you, Tim.
That's generous.
That's generous. This is, Rotten Tomatoes has this at 60%. The prior installments, 55
Yeah, it's the
and 44
first one that's been fresh,
Yes,
which gets me
close,
a little excited.
I mean, plot-wise, I actually still think I like the original plot, but dialogue-wise, it was hard to deal with. Like,
I thought there were some funny
gags.
parts
I mean,
in
these
this.
are goofy fart gags and those types of things, but the animation, which I know that's what you're going to be looking for, Tim, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And the things that they do with lighting, and I've started picking up on more of these things having spent more time with you, is I look at how they frame, light on the eyes. Just a little bit of passing light as they walk through different tunnels and things like that. Like, I'm like, wow, that is pretty remarkable in an animated movie. So I'm starting to pick up on things like that. This one does not disappoint from that perspective.
Yeah, I haven't seen more of this film than the trailer, but the trailer definitely makes it look like it's doing the Tartakovsky thing, which is this like very angular way of moving bodies. Like he's better known for like Samurai Jack, the Star Wars, the original Clone Wars, like the one that actually was on the air like in 2003. And he also worked on Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls. It's like that sort of very flat, everything feels like it's been drawn with like sharp lines sort of aesthetic. And in the Hotel Transylvania movies, he has been trying to like marry that to CG animation in a way that I think is cool. I don't know if he does it in the new one. I imagine he must.
Yeah. I think visually it's fine. Plot-wise, what did you think, Kara? Story-wise?
Least favorite of the 3. I still did laugh several times throughout the movie.
I remember turning to you.
Farts, so that makes sense.
I know.
Some of the fart
Some of them
jokes,
they were like a notch above fart jokes.
There's also some parenting things that take place where Carrie and I then we made some eye contact and we're laughing with the wolf parents.
Yeah.
Kids do love movies
It's like
full of jokes about how tough it is to raise children.
It is.
Yes.
There was like a kids center there where you can drop off your kids, and this Wolfpack family was like excited.
Yes, not sure what to do with themselves.
Underselling
and I think
that.
we've all
So
we've all
is
been
the
there.
assumption then that they go and just have sex?
You'll have to watch the movie to find out.
Here's what I need to know to spend my money on this film. Do I see a hardcore sex scene between Mr. and Mrs. Wolfman?
No.
Oh.
Just didn't want to. I'm just trying to be honest.
Is it a
Just trying to
beautiful
be honest.
softcore
They
sex
come back
scene?
with some extra kids, I think. Shinto.
Well, as folks know, we've been trying to push to get some more videos and do some other types of things like proof of concepts for interviews. So, Carrie actually, did a very riveting interview. You managed to snag a personality and get their thoughts on this particular movie.
Expert,
so,
number one animation expert. I know.
So don't take any of our words for what we thought of Hotel Transylvania 3. Let's listen in on Carrie's interview.
What do you want, Mama?
Hi, Alice.
What
Can you
does...
see? What's that? Are you ready for your interview?
Sure.
Okay. Now, this is going to be really casual, really comfortable. Want you to feel good. You need anything? Any refreshments?
No thanks.
Okay. So, we'll begin. Please state your name.
My name is Alice.
And how old are you as of today?
3.
3. Interesting. That's a great age. Great age. We'll start with some easier questions, and then we'll maybe move to some that are a bit more challenging. Favorite color?
Pink.
Pink. Interesting choice. Favorite parent?
Mommy.
Yes. Also an excellent choice. Now I'm going to get to some harder questions. Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. Did you see that movie today?
Yes.
Yes. And did you enjoy the movie?
Yes.
You did? I thought it was good too. So, more specifically, what did you think was the funniest part of the movie?
The funniest thing was when that squishy made the other squishy.
The green squishy man?
Yeah.
Yes? When he did what?
When he changed another squishy into a little squishy.
Oh, that was so funny. That made me laugh too. I laughed at that part as well. Would you say there were any parts of the movie that you thought were scary?
No.
No scary parts. Excellent. And would you recommend Hotel Transylvania 3 to your friends?
It's good.
It's good. Excellent. And how many stars would you give Hotel Transylvania 3?
16.
16. Excellent. Well, you heard it here. Thanks, Alice. We really appreciate your review. And love ya.
Bye.
Bye. And that was my interview. How did I do?
It was very good. It felt very, very professional, very crisp. I like the subtlety and precision made available by a 16-star scale.
Yeah.
And I think we need to seriously consider reformulating the
I think
entire
we
site.
I
should.
feel like you needed to push her a little bit. Like you needed to dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Like get
Get
the
to the
skeletons.
emotional side.
Get her to cry a little bit.
Yeah.
But we can work on this. Is again first time.
First pass. Do you guys think like maybe I should just kind of be our lead interviewer for this show? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
As long as we restrict ourselves to toddlers, I think we'll be fine.
Agreed.
But in all seriousness, we are looking to add that type of content more. We've been adding lots of things to alternatending.com, much like all of the movie details for the things that we've seen. Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternatending.com. That's alternatending.com. Before we head to our break, you also might be wondering about ways to support the show. Want to make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more? You can do it all from our Patreon site. I did want to mention that time is still running out. I think we have, till August? When do we?
15th, maybe?
Yeah. We got the Writers Workshop going on, so if you're interested, be sure to act fast. New to our Patreon this week and picking up our Sundance Jury Prize is Kevin J. Olson.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Entitling Kevin to this very here podcast shout out and a movie viewing of their choice for Carrie and I. So looking forward to seeing what that will be.
Kevin and I have a sort of friendly blog relationship that goes many years back. I think he no longer writes, but he was good back in the day. And if he ever decides to write again, yes.
Let us know.
I wonder what's going to be in store for you and I then, Care.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I just want so bad to actually have good people in this room with me. That's the only thing.
I know you do.
We've also had a handful of other supporters joining this week, helping us inch closer to our dream of doing video. That's something that we have on the horizon as well. If you check back with Patreon, that's our latest goal that we're trying to reach. Also celebrating their anniversaries this week on Patreon are Patrick Scott and Travis Neely. Happy anniversary.
Thank you both.
Happy anniversary.
Also, I want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternatending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here were the things that were purchased. Some pet supplies, Taste of the Wild, grain-free, protein real meat.
Dog still alive.
Lamb.
Still going.
30-pound bag. We also had a book purchase, Useless Magic, Lyrics and Poetry.
All right.
Heard of it?
I'm not familiar with it.
I mean,
Purchased it?
I thought it was going to be one thing, and then it turned into something different, and I'm very confused.
And then this one, very impressed. Thank you so much for this purchase. Thanks for all the purchases, but this one in particular, big one. Panasonic Lumix 4K Wi-Fi digital camera with lens,
Ooh.
Whoa.
with the tripod,
Nice.
with filter, the whole shebang.
That might just
Purchase on
push
the
us
site.
over into being able to start video.
We might be
with
able
that
to
purchase.
do it just a little bit sooner because of that. Thank you. Cell phones and accessories, iPhone 7 wallet case, durable and slim. Want to make sure it fits in your pocket comfortably. Also had some DVDs purchased. Life of Pi.
Yep.
Yep.
I've only
Tiger
seen
movie?
it one time. I feel like I need to give it. There's more to see.
You wouldn't like it.
No, there's nothing like more happening subtext.
It's really like
that I
in
could-
depth and
Well, it's
spiritual.
a movie chock-a-block full of subtext,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
also subtext that the movie wants to make sure you don't miss.
I feel
You
like I
wouldn't
need
like
another
it.
viewing. I've seen it.
I
need
know.
another viewing.
You
I wouldn't
like
like it in the second viewing.
Again.
A movie I do want to revisit, and I'll watch it with you, Kara, because you have not seen it. We talked about it recently. Phantom Thread.
Oh, you're right. I haven't.
You didn't see that?
No.
I thought in my head you had.
No, you liked it, and I didn't see it.
That's what it was.
That's the thing.
I was
That's a
thinking you
common
liked
thing.
it and I didn't
There's many
see it.
movies that fall into that camp. Well, this one though, Tim liked, I think,
Okay.
and then you might have seen this one, Tree of Life. Is that the?
That was the one that we had the
you've seen?
miscommunication on.
That was the one where you got it in your head that I said, Carrie, you'll love Tree
You'll
of Life. It
love
will be your
this.
favorite movie. When I think what I said was, for God's sake, never see Tree of
Never
Life.
see it. So I watched it on a flight, and I was like, "Oh, this is terrible."
Amazon.
I gotta say, person who bought Tree of Life, thank you. But also, you gotta wait. It's coming out in Criterion in like 2 months. It's gonna be a 50-minute longer cut.
Oh, wow, it's 50 more
Good.
minutes.
You're gonna want to see that one, Carrie.
Yeah, I definitely do. I
'Cause it's
feel
like
like
the
I
movie
wasn't
Saw,
depressed
but it's
enough
way too- it's
from
way
the first
longer.
time. I wanted more sadness in my life.
And on Amazon Instant Video, we had The Hills Have Eyes unrated. I didn't know that it was necessitated an unrated version.
The interesting thing is, I believe there are two different. So there's two movies called The Hills Have Eyes, and I believe they both have unrated versions. So
Okay.
I have no idea which one this is.
Is that the remake of Deliverance?
It could be the remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, okay. I thought that for some reason it was tied to Deliverance, but no.
I mean,
Yeah, Hillbillies. Sure.
they're both about what horrible things happen when urbanites go into the American
Okay,
countryside.
so
yes.
similar. All right.
Well, when we get back, our top 5 musicals. And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 musicals. Carrie, your favorite category.
Favorite genre.
Yeah, this is it for you.
This is above.
You're home.
I'm so glad this is your favorite category too.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we've had a few weeks of movies that I just don't like.
Yeah.
And like, here's prequels, here's movies that need a sequel, here's Jurassic Park movies. And now we're finally doing a category that I love because musicals are my favorites.
They're so
I'm so glad that they're your
wonderful.
favorites too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about musicals?
My favorite, you know what I love the most is how abrupt and distracting the singing can be, and dancing that are layered throughout the movies. No, I'm just kidding. But that was my criteria. The musical or movie must have abrupt and distracting singing throughout.
Carrie.
I don't really like musicals. I lied. This was all a lie.
But why?
I don't know. I've never liked them. But yeah, they're just, I find them very distracting, hard to get through, difficult to get through. And I realize, and I'm completely aware that I'm a monster. Everybody else I know loves musicals.
This was one of the most...
I'm glad that you know that this is
I'm
because you're
self-aware.
bad.
and
Bad at the core.
It didn't become...
Like in a moral sense.
In a more
It didn't become as too apparent until Carrie did a little social media
know.
action where she asked for help
Yeah,
to
so-
see like what should I see in this crap genre that I don't like, and everybody just pounced.
It was a
all over
pounce
her.
situation. No one ever writes down my stuff.
I will say I don't usually like follow on Twitter, but occasionally I do check my notifications. So that's the life hack. If you want me to actually like respond to you on Twitter, just like at me 5 or 6 times. And I was so happy to see our new contributor, Catherine, seemed horrified by the number of films you had not seen in a way that made me feel like, yes, she is a good fit. She belongs on our site.
It's not good. I had several people quote, "Are you uncomfortable with the feeling of joy?" Was one of the
well, you are,
responses
but
I
so
got.
am I, and I still like musicals.
I know. I don't know. People were like, "Oh, you know, it's okay. You know, I still like you, but like you're just really wrong." Like were some of the other areas.
These
of
are close
feedback.
friends.
Close friends.
Yeah.
Some family. Yeah. People not happy. All I said was my least favorite genre. And please help kind of scenario.
Well, they were trying to help by pointing out
belittling.
that you shouldn't say filthy things like that in the public forum.
I agree. So I was able to scrape something together for this episode.
because you have not seen a lot.
So,
and you
so
haven't
was your
seen a lot.
criterion, like your ranking was the more distressing, distracting the musical numbers were, the higher it went?
A little bit. So again, it had to go back to had to have singing and dancing layered throughout. All diabetic types of movies, musicals.
I'm sorry, what?
Count all the diabetes.
So
I saw some people talking about diabetes on the website. Yeah.
Movies that
There's both.
Sugar Rush.
There's both
Yeah.
So I did a little research. There's both diabetic and why are you looking at me? And non-diabetic type musicals, and I included both.
Are you doing a bit?
I saw it on the website. People were like, "Hey, do you include diabetic ones or do you not?" And I'm including both.
All my musicals feature Wilford Brimley. All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one.
So I purposely didn't research what that means.
Are you sure you're not confusing with diegetic? The non-diegetic.
Is that another musical term?
I believe
Maybe.
just that one is.
So
Sound
The
that takes...
roller coaster of like semiotics that I've gone on in the last minute. Because first I thought you said diabetic when you meant diegetic, and I was like, oh, I'm surprised Carrie's come up with that word. And then I was like, oh no, she means diabetic, as in like watching these super sweet saccharine movies gives her diabetes. And then
No, it's the first one, I feel like.
I feel like I have plunged into an H.P. Lovecraft story right now.
When I said that, what would you say over there, Rob?
Diegetic?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So I included both diegetic and non-diegetic movies, but I would like you to explain to me the difference of those two.
Just to make sure
if
Carrie's
you
definition.
included both kinds, I would like you to explain to me.
Is one of them, I'm going to guess because I actually have no freaking clue, but what I'm going to guess is one of them where the song is like blended in, and then one where it's like they speak, one where it's songs, one section is just songs and I sing, and then there's, what do you call not singing? Lines, just talking. And then the other one is, I'm very nervous right now. I'm very nervous. So the other one is where it's blended in. So like, for example, I would say to you, we're talking right now, and I would be like, hello, Tim, how are you?
I am very fine. Thanks
Yes.
for asking.
Is that the other one?
That is not the difference.
Oh.
So diegesis is a term from theater, I think, basically meaning the world in which the story takes place. So diegetic music is music that takes place. The characters are playing music. Like they put on a record and we hear a song. That's diegetic music. If a character is walking through the woods and like violin music starts playing and it's creepy, that's non-diegetic music, because in theory the character does not hear violin music.
Oh, okay.
For me, it's like the orchestra in a watching a musical.
So why would people be
movie.
Distinguishing those two things? Who cares?
So diegetic versus non-diegetic isn't necessarily the way I would like to break those down for a musical, but what it's the difference is, okay, in a musical such as the Broadway Melody, the first movie musical.
Sure.
Every single song that takes place in that movie is a performance by Broadway singers on stage.
Okay.
In a movie like, for example, Les Miserables, Jean Valjean is a poor French thief who feigns that he is a mayor, but he sings about his experience as a poor French thief.
The worst. Just say it. Just say the sentence.
So
anyway, go on.
In I'm sad.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, so that's basically the difference.
So when people are saying that diegetic versus non-diegetic on the site, they're referring to those two differences.
Is it a song that they're performing because they are singers, or is it a song that they're performing because generally we would say in a musical the reason singing happens is when a strong emotional moment happens. It's too big for just like expressing it. It needs to be expressed in this heightened musicalized way.
All right. And that second one that you just said is the diegetic.
The second one is non-diegetic.
Non-diegetic, right.
So you included both.
I included both.
Okay.
And yeah, Tears of Bad for me are the worst kind of musical is what you just described. Say the sentence. Don't sing about mustard on your hot dog. Like, just say you want mustard on your hot dog.
I want to point out that when we watched The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is probably the closest that exists to a movie where they're actually singing about putting mustard on their hot dog, we liked it.
I did like that, but I was in the moment. But that's the worst scenario. That's the Les Mis is the worst scenario. Then less bad, but still distracting is when the story is stopped, but supported by a thematic song. So like you're cruising along and then they do stop and jump into like just song. So that's the second
So
bad.
can you give me an example of that?
Les Mis, Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge.
I guess what would be the distinction between... Oh, so you're saying sung through versus...
Yes.
Oh, that's okay. That's different.
Like they're having dialogue and then they actually pause and it's a thematic song that they lead into. So that's less bad. Best case, just don't sing and dance is best case.
So your favorite musicals are the ones where there's no singing and no dance.
Silent ones. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No.
Okay.
So that's it.
Very good. Tim, criteria. This is your baby.
Are we on the
baby.
same page? Or did I have the same criteria as you?
Well, insofar as my criterion... Actually, no, because dancing is not a criterion for me. A musical is a narrative. Basically, I used a very just like blunt, pragmatic definition. It's a musical if it was marketed as being a musical. So the question is like, where is so American Graffiti is a film that has a whole lot of songs in it. It's not a musical. It just has a whole lot of songs in it. There are other films that have a lot of songs that are musicals if they are in some way performed by the characters and there's a million different like ways this can iterate. Sort of the big difference, this is again from theater theory rather than film theory, is it a book musical so that the songs are actually storytelling elements, or is it a musical where the song just like happens as, plot, stop, do a little number, and then the plot resumes. So those are two different things. And there's also like the most pure version of the non-book musical is the one where all of the musical numbers are performances by people whose job is to perform musical numbers.
Sure.
And they're like the people in the movie are watching the same thing we're watching, basically. I have all of those kinds on my list. This was a hard list for me to make because this is my favorite genre. I think this is the genre that is cinema because it is all about movement. It is all about just like auditory. It's about pleasure. It's about like having every one of your senses being like sort of gamed at the same time. You see pretty things because musicals tend to be very colorful, very movement oriented. You hear things. So like this is movies.
Joy. This is your joy.
This is my joy because I am a good person.
I know.
And a
I've
monster.
never claimed to be a good person.
Okay.
So
Well, as long as
it's
you
just
have
clear. It's just more clear now.
So I will say, in order to get a manageable list, I just ruthlessly decided, okay, there's a lot of musicals that are in kind of the same bucket, and I was only going to pick one film per bucket.
Okay.
And what this means specifically is that you could do a top 5 movie musicals entirely out of the filmography of MGM producer Arthur Freed.
Oh.
And I only have one.
What's his most popular? Well, don't tell us that one because that's the one you have.
Yeah. The major point being here, there's only one MGM musical on my list, which hurts a lot because there are some magnificent MGM musicals. And my ranking is not necessarily by how good is the movie, it's by how good do I think it brings in like its musical aspects.
I think we just said the same thing.
No, not at all.
It feels like we're speaking the same language here. What's your thoughts on animation? Does the animation...
Because my like primary point of reference is like how good is the music being like brought in, animation is sort of irrelevant. So if it's animated, if it's not, I don't care.
Okay.
And for me, Tim, I know how important this is to you. So I wanted to be as pure as I could. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to give myself an easy way out with movies that I could easily make an argument that they're musicals, because they probably are, but I didn't want to include them because I wanted to push myself. So in order to do that, I went non-diegetic. So I didn't want to include movies like anything directed by John Carney, because I love John Carney movies.
What's he do?
That's Once, that's Begin Again, it's Sing
I
Street.
didn't even think of those
it's
as
Hearts Beat
musical.
Loud. Those are people
weird.
performing songs in...
True.
That's diegetic, more of the diegetic form.
There's a fuzziness there.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought about those.
Once, I think, is definitely a musical, and the reason why is because when they are singing Falling Slowly, that is a narrative event. And the fact that they're singing the song is sort of the narrative event. I don't know if I would consider the others to be musicals.
But I wanted to push myself.
I get it.
I want to go more traditional.
All right.
I did not include animated because I feel my whole list would be John Carney and animated musicals.
So you're saying if John Carney made an animated musical?
Oh, I'd be in heaven.
Yes.
Yeah. Think about it, John. But what I wanted to do, and the reason for that is actually a neighbor, we were having this conversation and about animated musicals aren't animated, they're live action. So it's just more a pure form for me.
All right.
Pure form.
Sure.
Then what I wanted to do was it needed to be a musical first, then turned into a movie, or needed to have been a Broadway.
Ooh.
And then I was in trouble.
Oh.
So I backed off.
That's like saying, I want my list of the best movies of all time to start with shitty movies.
Yes. Well, and it's also...
This is the list of the best movies that only got 2 stars.
I have not seen a lot of those movies on that list. So I that's where I kind of ended up, was I took it a step back from that.
I once did a top 10 best adaptations of stage musicals into movies. I couldn't fill out a top 10 with that being the category for the list without having to go to things that I thought were bad.
Okay. So that was the right choice. I feel like I ended
it's a
up,
different medium.
And like Tim, I'm not going in necessarily in rank order of the movie that I enjoyed the most. This is the one, it's a blend of, it needed to be it got points for being a better movie, but also for being a better musical, of what embodies a musical to me. So it may not necessarily be in the order that I like.
All diegetic.
Non-diegetic.
Oh, all non for you.
All non-diegetic.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there are some diegetic moments perhaps in my movies, but
Okay.
it couldn't just be diegetic.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I will say that I am revising my ranking even now because like this is hard. Not the 5. I've committed to the 5. I'm just reordering the 5.
I felt pretty good about
All
my
right,
5. And
start
I
us-
think Rob and I are going to have a
We're gonna have lineup.
significant amount of overlap just because I don't think you have very good taste. So I think most
I
of
like
ours
that
will
you're
be the same.
preemptively saying that your list is bad.
I am. It is. No,
Okay.
actually, I love every single one of these movies, but I'm sure by your standards, my list will suck. So.
This is exciting because I've gotten some feedback recently that what people love most about this is when you say something and I'm sad.
Yeah.
And those people are going to love this episode.
That's
I also want to say that our list, Care, is likely comprised. The reason for its composition is because we also have not seen.
haven't
the
seen
full,
enough.
We have not
Yeah.
seen the full list of things.
I
We
was
should. Tim
told
sent us
that.
home with like 8 Blu-rays, which we
I
made
watched
it
3.
through,
We watched
through
like 3 of them.
1 and a quarter.
Just 1 1/4.
Right? You want to
Or
keep them?
3. I know we saw 3, but anyway.
You want to hang on to them and watch them later? That's cool.
The feedback that we also got was if you don't like musicals, if you hate musicals, you haven't found one that speaks to you. And so maybe I just need more that speak to me.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Let's hear.
but this
your-
first one
yeah.
did speak to me. And this is a good one. Just caught up with it because I felt compelled and like you might throw things at me if I did not. And so my number 5, I caught up with 1952's Singin' in the Rain.
Your top 4 better be motherfucking
My goodness.
dynamite.
That's
they
your
all
fifth?
they are. Yeah.
That's my number 1.
That's my number
That's
1.
your number 1?
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah.
It was inked in.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
That is a
Why
that
don't
is the definition of a
you?
musical.
It was definitely a musical. I would
It is
definitely agree with
definitely
that
a musical.
definition. It was very good. I hadn't seen it. Gene Kelly's in there.
He is.
Very handsome Gene Kelly. Stanley Donen.
I think it's pronounced Donnan, but I've never been 100% sure.
Oh no! What am I even saying?
He's the co-director.
He's the co-director. Yeah.
Kelly and Donnan are the
And then
directors.
Debbie Reynolds is the gal. Gene Hagen, and then Donald O'Connor is the goofy
Yep.
sidekick
I
man.
love Donald O'Connor.
I will not give the synopsis of this because it will be very sad for
Yes.
you. So
No, do it. That's what the people
like a
demand.
Band-Aid?
The people
It's like a
demand that
Band-Aid?
you give us the plot synopsis of
I
Singin' in
won't
the
read
Rain.
what I actually wrote because I think you will be sad. I'm going to try and do it on the fly.
I want
okay.
whatever will make
Whatever I've
me
got.
the most vocally in pain.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I want you to go with.
Okay, here we go. Tim's best musical of all time is there's this silent film production company
Yep,
and they want to transition to sound.
they do.
And 50% of their top billed acting duo have a really obnoxious voice. So they have to solve for that.
Grammatically, that was a nightmare, but so far so good.
Okay, thanks. And so that's the story. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Debbie Reynolds is in there too.
She is.
She's a love interest potentially. Maybe.
What does she do?
Does she do? She does the voice. She stands in for the voice
She's like
She has a better voice.
she's this movie fan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And she's like this kid basically who like loves the movies, wants to break into the movies. Starstruck with Don Lockwood, the Gene Kelly character. They start dating, and he's like, "Hey,
They're not really dating, are they?
They're dating.
They're canoodling.
They're canoodling."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, producer, you should listen to Debbie Reynolds. She has a really good voice." And he's like, "She does have a really good voice, but also my balls will be eaten off by Lena Lamont, the
The obnoxious
evil,
voice lady, yeah.
if I don't like let her be your leading lady." So they have the beautiful young. Oh, what's her character name? Kathy.
Is it?
I think it's Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy sounds right.
They have Kathy.
Yes, that is right, I think.
overdub Lena. Complications ensue, but it all comes out in the end because it's a musical and they're happy.
Yeah.
Musicals are happy.
Number one thing about this movie, Donald O'Connor. Agreed?
It's one of several things.
Yeah,
tied for number
I like a
one.
lot
He's
of things
so
about
funny.
this movie, but yes, very amusing.
The thing I
Good
liked about this
slapstick.
was the physical comedy. So I liked that more than anything in this movie.
Make 'em laugh.
Make 'em laugh was a great scene.
number.
Great scene, great number.
great number.
That's another thing that I think we should all call out as a criteria is you have to remember, no matter how long ago you saw this musical, that catchy song. Like what's the main go-to famous
but
song?
Singin' in the Rain has Good Morning, Singin' in the
Sing in the
Rain.
Rain.
Make
Yeah.
'em laugh.
Fit as a
Yeah.
fiddle. Make
No, you
'em
didn't say it had to be
laugh.
one, but you
Yeah.
have to remember the music. It has
I
to stick
do.
with you. Do you?
I think you will find that people remember the music from this film.
It's on my list.
Good.
So we're all on the same page.
on Rotten Tomatoes, number 93 on IMDb.
It's really pretty for the time too, right? The color in this and everything
It's
was
really pretty. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Okay.
No qualifications.
This is the one Tim and I think both probably saw in the same class in film school where they focused a lot on the color and the use of red in particular to evoke certain things. But one thing to evoke love.
Oh, let's do
but
that
there was
voice
also
never
I do
again.
want to bring this up because I found this so interesting even 25 years ago whenever we were in film school.
Shut your motherfucking hole.
Was
It was 17 years, sir.
that
Jesus Christ, it was 17.
Is it only
years
17?
ago.
Okay.
Shut your right.
In the irony of the plot of this particular movie, Debbie Reynolds apparently was dubbed,
She was.
which is just bonkers to me that they don't even recognize their own hypocrisy in doing.
Oh, they probably recognized it. They just didn't care.
Yeah, they're doing a movie about how terrible of a thing it is to do this, and they in fact are doing it.
Yep.
Do you know if she was? Do you know any story about was she dubbed for everything, or just like some of the bigger numbers?
I don't think so. I think there is at least one line where we hear Debbie Reynolds' voice. Certainly not one full song.
She's really cute back in the day too.
Very cute.
Very cute. Very sweet.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's
that
your
was my
number
number 5. It gets better
Where does
from
it
here
go from
for
here,
sure.
Care? 1-2 Oscars. Julian, Billy Dawn, and Chaz Music also had
See,
their.
we're all on the same page.
I gotta talk about this.
Talk about
I know
it.
we want to not slow down, but before we go on further on the list, I just want to be like, this is the Singing in the Rain. This is a movie that is like joy juice being just shoved into your pineal
So
gland.
I have more joy juice coming at you.
I will die of joy if that's the case.
Okay.
So God damn it! All right, so Singing in the Rain.
just saw your
I thought I was gonna. I thought I was gonna have like 5 lines to like warm up to talking about Singing in the Rain. It's all right. So there's so much going on in this movie. The Technicolor we sort of
the
touched
singing.
on. The singing, the raining
rain,
happens. This musical has some of the most perfect. So I don't think it has the best dancing. I'm going to say that right now.
Except for that Donald O'Connor thing.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
I would say that at the level of using your body to do crazy shit that bodies shouldn't do, this is not Gene Kelly's most impressive thing. And at the level of your body in motion is beautiful as a cinematic event, Gene Kelly was never as good as Fred Astaire anyways. That being said, I think Singin' in the Rain is the most perfect musical number ever filmed, in part because of its like elegant structure. It is 4 long shots of singing followed by 4 long shots of dancing. They sort of mirror each other if you like map them out. Plus you get all of this like really great, the camera just sort of gliding around as though it is floating on these sort of wet streets of Los Angeles through this beautiful set where Gene Kelly is just like spinning and splashing. He has that great moment where he jumps up on the lamppost. That's like the signature thing that happens in this film. The number is just like about this expression of unbridled happiness in the moment. And I think the camera is sort of like dancing with Gene Kelly to make that happen. And there's this great moment. So it's towards the end of the second verse. I think it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm not sure about that. But it's let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain. I have a smile on my face. And he like throws out his arms, looks up, and the camera just like jumps up and then moves down to look at this beaming face. And Gene Kelly had a horrible head cold when he was shooting that number. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to be there. They were raining hot milk on him because rain didn't show up on camera. So it's like a mixture of rain and milk, and it was like room temperature. So it stank of like stagnant milk.
Yeah.
And he was able to make that smiling face while he was having smelly milk rained on his head cold.
Nice.
And that is what I have to say about Singing in the Rain.
That is interesting. So do we attribute then its wonderfulness to Stanley Donen because he was busy?
Kelly and Donen co-directed.
I know, but I mean, if he was getting milked on, then he wasn't. He wasn't using the camera.
He was
at the
the
time.
choreographer of the dance numbers.
Okay.
So the dance numbers were very much like designed for, here's where the 3 people will be, or the 2 people, or whoever, and here's where the camera will be, and that was all decided like to a very fine level. It's not like Donen was on set and was like, okay, Gene, show me what you're going to do. And Gene was like, da, 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 da. And Donen was like, okay, there's the camera. They plotted that out like elaborately.
Okay. So Gene Kelly, directed a bunch of other stuff. Was he a prominent director?
Not especially. He did other things that were good. His work with Donen is like A+ down the line. His best work as a solo director, best known work as a solo director is probably 1968 Hello, Dolly, which is a toxic shithole of a movie. And if it's on either one of your lists, if you have that movie link,
you'll have to find out. You'll have to, that whole trying to make you sad thing I'm doing. So
make me very sad.
Yeah. So that takes my number 5 to your number 5.
Okay.
Where do you go from here?
My number 5 takes us to France.
Uh-huh.
France in the 1930s. We've just invented this thing called sound cinema. And those uppity Americans have invented something called the musical comedy. And so here in France, we think that we're better than they are.
Uh-huh.
We make better films. Our films are more poetic and pure and good. So there's this particular filmmaker named René Clair who really he loved American cinema. He took a lot of inspiration from Charlie Chaplin in particular and wanted to do his version of an American romantic or musical comedy, but do it better and really use music to sort of do things that fundamentally could not happen in the absence of music. And his second, he made one musical film that was sort of retrofitted from a silent. It's very good. It's called On the Roofs of Paris. But his first full musical from the ground up is a film called Les Millions, 1931.
On your list, Rob?
I might have just told a lie. It was Anula. I need to check something. That might actually be his second musical. It is definitely his best musical. It's the same year, so I don't know. Anyway, he made another film the same year, Anula Liberté. But 1931, Les Millions. This is the story of a charming, broke painter who lives in a Paris garret, as one will.
Uh-huh.
And he has a girlfriend, and she's also charming and broke, and they just love each other so much.
What's the conflict?
The conflict, there's not one between them.
Oh, okay.
She's
too perfect.
They're just too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is that he buys a lottery ticket, and he wins 1 million francs.
How much was that at the time?
A lot.
What's the conversion rate?
It was $7.96, but that was in $1931. There was a depression on.
Yeah.
People would cut each other for that.
Right.
No, 1 million francs is real money even. Well, there is no more francs, so it would be worth nothing today, but it's a lot of money.
So what do they do with the money?
Well, the thing that happens, he doesn't have the ticket because he left it in the jacket pocket that he gave to a homeless man.
I've seen this before. I haven't seen this, but they've redone this.
No, Tim has brought this up potentially as a movie before.
I feel
something
like
with 1 million francs. I don't know.
Anyway, it's a movie about him and eventually all of his friends racing to find what happened to the lottery ticket. Meanwhile, it turns out the homeless man was a master thief. And now the thief and his criminal gang are going to hold on to the ticket, but also the cops are after the thief.
Are you spoiling this?
I'm giving you the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Okay.
I was going to say, was it top 5 heists? Would you have had this in heists?
Absolutely not. That would be ludicrous. I might have had this in just top 5 things that make me feel pleasure. Pleasure's a word I'm going to be trotting out a lot today, just FYI.
Yeah.
So if that makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's just this very frothy, ridiculous movie with a ludicrous scenario told through this charming, upbeat music that was doing things that no one had ever thought you could do with music in terms of creating rhythm. The scenes just kind of are there, but the music is sort of what gives the scenes form. There is a very wonderful moment late in the film where the lovers have quarreled because there is a little conflict.
Okay.
They're not exactly perfect. And he's trying to make it up to her. And they've had to hide from the cops and the gangsters on the stage of an opera. As you will.
As you would. Yeah.
And so they're hiding behind a fake stage bush.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, the two people, there's this awful opera tenor who somehow ended up with the ticket. That's how they had to get on the opera stage, who hates his soprano leading lady. And they're singing this very soaring love song. Meanwhile, they hate each other. And the boy and the girl hiding on stage are sort of acting out by accident, the lyrics of this soaring operatic aria, while they are falling back in love. And it's adorable.
Gosh, this sounds
You're a liar, and you don't
really
don't
good.
even lie. Just don't even lie.
I've got to get there and see. Do you own it?
I do.
Why didn't you make this in your stack that you gave me?
Because I figured that a subtitled musical was not.
Oh,
a
it's
good
subtitled too.
It's French.
That's right.
That's
I didn't
gonna
know.
be
I thought
tough.
maybe they were, I don't know, talking in English or something. Living in France.
I think I did bring this up on the podcast because I think I sang Millionera, and you made me do it again because that was a thing you do.
And was it good?
No.
Oh, I think I heard good feedback on it. So this is your number 5.
My number 5.
Okay.
And this will be the entrance. I have a blend of modern.
Okay.
And just
Not modern.
non-modern. I don't know what the opposite of modern is. Traditional classic.
Okay.
Classic musicals.
Old.
This is where Tim's going to be very upset with me right out of the gate. And this is Tim because again,
Are you taking my number one?
No, I'm
and
not.
objectively the
No,
best
I'm
of all
not.
time. Then I'm not as upset with you as with
this
someone
one,
else.
This
in the
one
room.
fits in its spot, mainly because I have not seen enough of the movies within my criteria, but also I really enjoyed this movie. This is a recent addition, 2017, about P.T. Barnum, The Greatest Showman.
Oh.
Robert.
Yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Passing judgment.
Why?
Because that
It's
wasn't
number
very
5.
good at all.
But it's number 5. That's where not very good at all when you haven't seen a ton of musicals.
When you've seen like 6 musicals, yes,
this is
you
where
would-
All right.
I would be.
Okay.
And you know what? Les Mis, very close. I feel like if I would have finished that movie, that would have been the other Hugh Jackman musical to make
Maybe.
make my list. But I did
Maybe.
not, in fact, finish Les Mis. So I'm stuck with The Greatest Showman, which I really enjoyed.
Sure.
And I still sing these musical numbers in my mind.
Yeah, good soundtrack. Tim doesn't agree.
I know Tim. you
That's
don't think
actually
so.
the thing. Like, I find the movie's gusto extraordinarily winning. I don't like the songs.
Yeah.
And that is a disqualifier for me.
This one stars the aforementioned Hugh Jackman, Michelle Williams, delivering like she always does, Zac Efron, Rebecca Ferguson, who's solo as the operatic person, still gives me
She
chills.
the bearded lady?
No.
No.
Solo operatic singer.
The bearded lady
yes,
is,
the redheaded
is
lady.
Kayla Seattle.
Yes.
And, oh, what an amazing voice. that she
There's a
has.
thing that she does that's become sort of like this totemic moment among the grad students at UW-Madison. And by among the grad students, I mean 3 of us, but the rest of the program's not here to deny what I'm saying. So every grad student at UW-Madison agrees. But there's this moment on the opening track of the soundtrack, The Greatest Show, where Kayla Seattle, I can't even come within like a million yards of doing it, so don't ask me to, Carrie. But she sings like, "This is the greatest show," and it sounds like she's trying to puke up her lungs.
It's a guttural growl.
And then
right?
like there's this, the rest of the cast is like singing, and she's just going like ah, and then like sings it again, and it just sounds like I don't know where she's extracting oxygen from her body, but it's like she's trying to exorcise something by singing.
That's so totemic.
It's so
Gosh.
no, like we talk about it.
Yeah.
You don't even know what I
But
mean
this
when
is
I say totemic.
it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed I enjoyed the soundtrack from beginning to end.
Kids loved it. I can see why you like it.
The kids enjoyed it, and I'm a big kid at heart. It's about P.T. Barnum. I know
It's
it doesn't
about P.T. Barnum.
follow his circus life.
I've
extra
decided that
closely,
I
but-
think the fact that it is full of lies is a strength.
Yeah.
Because P.T. Barnum would have wanted it that way.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
agree.
Because he was a liar.
Actually, one of our contributors,
jerk.
new writing contributors, Becca Stewart, also had this on her list. So thank you, Becca.
Thank you,
That was-
Becca, for having better taste than Carrie.
Oh, wait till this next one's going to be a
All right,
real
so yeah,
crowd pleaser.
how do you go up from Singing in the Rain?
I'm going to show you because it gets. He said that fills me with joy. I got more joy for you, more pleasure. Was that your word for the day?
Pleasure is a word I've been using.
Okay, yeah. So this is more pleasurable than Singing in the Rain. This brings us to A Spoon Full of Sugar, 1964's Mary Poppins.
Yep.
No more joy in the world could ever be brought than Mary Poppins. Is this on your lists?
I said I was taking one film per bucket, and I took a different film from the Disney bucket.
Oh, this is Disney. Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I have it as my number 3.
I have. Oh, nice.
Line it up again, Care.
Nice.
Go for it.
So I always have aspired to be Mary Poppins. And Rob, you should know this from my purse that I carry around. Rob's very judgy about the amount of crap that I keep in my purse, but it's because
Mary Poppins keep a
She's got-
toothbrush. Keep a toothbrush in her purse, like not washed toothbrush.
I would be unsurprised, sir.
how do you not know? I mean, at least I have good oral hygiene. Rob's
And she's
super-
British, so she probably doesn't even have a used toothbrush.
Right?
That's true. It's
Right?
missing from her.
So this is Robert Stevenson and Bill Walsh, directed and written. The plot of this one, super magical nanny named Mary Poppins comes because there's these children who are sort of neglected by their dad, he's pretty rich, right?
I don't think he's rich. He's
a
middle
banker.
class.
Middle class. Okay.
He is a banker.
But he's a banker, but he needs childcare, and the kids are a little down in the dumps.
Do you know how the film signifies that he cares too much about his job as a banker?
No.
Because his name is Mr. Banks.
Is that why?
Pretty much.
It could be.
It's a film whose symbolism is he's not flying under the radar.
It's not the only one on my list today that will do that same thing. So so she goes and takes these kids on these magical adventures.
Yep.
She can fit so many things in her purse. She gives them a little spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down.
The medicine
she
go
runs around,
down.
she just dances and sings around, but not in an annoying way. I would say.
No, in fact, it's in the most delightful way.
It is a good one.
I
Because
like
Mary
it.
Poppins said that.
She did.
So this has Julie Andrews, who is just the face of joy. Dick Van Dyke plays Bert, the chimney sweep guy.
Yes, indeed.
So well.
One of, I think, the most convincing performances of a Brit by an American.
Would you say?
If I were being intensely ironic.
Okay. I don't know. And I don't know if you are.
Hey, governor.
It's Mary Poppins.
It's Mary Poppins. He's like, it's Mary Poppins. I think I could have been in this movie. So this has David Tomlinson, Glynis Johns is in this,
Yep.
Rita Shaw. Like, it just has a lot of people.
It has a lot of people that you would not have the slightest goddamn idea who they were.
You
because
know-
they're Mary
No,
Poppins.
No, I know who their faces are.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke. Do you
I'm
know
saying
he's still alive?
who is
He's-
like, oh, I want to see the complete Rita Shaw films. I'm going to get to Mary Poppins next.
I do. That's what I do.
I'm sure Rita Shaw is a wonderful actress and she has children who love
She
her.
has a family, yeah, so that are listening.
Won
so,
5 Oscars.
Of course it did. Tell us what else.
Was goddamned robbed of Best Picture by a different musical that might be on someone's list, so I won't talk shit about it yet because I think I might have already stepped in it with Hello Dolly, but lost to My Fair Lady and shouldn't have.
You're like having a conversation with yourself right now.
Yes.
Because we don't know what you're talking about.
I lost Best Picture to My Fair Lady.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
it shouldn't have because it's better.
Sure. And this is your number 3.
It's my number 3. Brady
You
Rubenstein.
love this too.
It's practically perfect in every
Does
way.
this bring me up? Like, are you feeling less animosity towards me?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Less sadness?
Yeah, I don't think it's better than Singing in the Rain, but it's on my list at number 3, so it's not too far off. So I can't.
will say something that,
fault you.
that I didn't make a factor because I didn't want to not have Singing in the Rain at number 1 because only a fucking sociopath would not have Singing in the Rain at number 1. Singing in the Rain does not have original songs. The only song written for the film is Make 'Em Laugh. Everything else is from the canon of Arthur Freed, the producer, who was previously a songwriter. Mary Poppins is an entirely original set of songs. I think it is very close to the top. It has some of the best songs ever written for a movie.
The Smothers Brothers, what are their names? The
Sherman Brothers.
Sherman. The Sherman.
Or the what? The writers?
The writers of the music.
Oh, okay.
They are sort of like quintessential 60s era Disney.
Yeah. Exactly. And
No.
that's why it's my number 4.
Great movie. I mean, we watched it recently with Abby. She loved it.
They loved it.
Brady Rubenstein, Mancini, CRD, yourself, and Maggie Hogan also had
Nice.
Mary Poppins on their list as well.
All right. So you're number 4.
So my number 4 is my film from the Disney bucket.
Okay.
And as I said, Mary Poppins has some of the best songs ever written for movies. Beauty and the Beast has the best songs ever written for movies. And that is why...
I thought you weren't doing animation.
No, Rob's not doing it.
That's just me.
Oh, that's just you. Okay.
I'm medium blind here. Honestly, the only reason it's as low as number 4 is because it is not a dancing movie, really, because they are cartoons, and it makes it feel like it's not dancing. But the songs,
the candle dances.
but the candles are drawing. And
Still counts.
when Gene Kelly moves his body, I'm like, fucking A, how did Gene Kelly move his body? When the candelabra does it, I'm like, well, that's because Nick Ranieri drew him to do that.
That was still hard.
I'm sure. For Nick Ranieri, though, not for
Yeah.
the candle, because the
Yeah.
candle doesn't exist. Anyway, it has the best soundtrack.
So you should
of
have
any-
chosen the live action Beauty and the Beast.
God damn it. God damn it.
It would have met your criteria of dancing.
It met, yes, but it's very bad.
It is-
dancing.
it's
It would have
not
met none
very
of my
good.
other criterion. So Beauty and the Beast has my favorite soundtrack, which is pretty much what got it onto the list. Kind of had to do with Disney. I love a lot of Disney movies. I think this is one that's the best as a musical.
Favorite song? Ooh. I know.
Let's let that percolate. Songs are by Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. Howard Ashman, who was like very, very invested in like the creation of this story, the characters, very tragically passed away of AIDS, complications from AIDS, while the film was still in production. So he did not live to see the completed film. It was dedicated to him very much. Animation's not like an auteur thing. You can't really say it was made by this person specifically. It's made by collectives. But this is kind of a Howard Ashman film. And I think everyone sort of talks about it that way. But it's Beauty and the Beast, you know? There's a beast. He's a dick. He was like a teenager and he was an asshole. So this witch turned him into a beast. And 10 years later, this beautiful woman stumbles into his castle trying to find her father, who he has imprisoned, and selflessly offers to allow herself to take her father's place. And thanks to the power of Angela Lansbury singing one of the prettiest songs ever.
Which one?
Beauty and the Beast.
Tale as Old as Time?
Tale as old as time.
Nice.
Song as old as rhyme. in this like one. So there's dancing. It's just cartoon dancing. So it doesn't feel quite the same. But like they dance in this like beautiful CGI ballroom that looks really weird now. But like in 1991, it was like, oh my God, how can you do this? This is like new shit in animation, because it was new in animation. This is, to me, one of the Disney films that like I would put in a time capsule. Beautiful songs, beautiful artwork, great voice cast. It has Angela Lansbury, Paige O'Hara.
She's the teapot.
She's the teapot.
Yeah.
Paige O'Hara plays Belle, the beauty. Jerry Orbach plays Lumiere, the candlestick.
Okay.
David Ogden Stiers plays the clock.
I love that you're pulling all these names off the top of your head.
This is Beauty and the Beast. This is a movie.
I also like that you
lives in my
described the
soul.
plot. And we're like, I guess I said the plot of Mary Poppins.
You said the plot of Mary Poppins, so I thought it was okay.
It's okay. Safe place here. It's a safe place. Yeah.
Anyway, I got nothing else.
It's a good one.
I love the
very good.
So.
Did you pick a favorite?
Much.
Do you have a favorite? I don't want to push.
Are you still percolating?
The opening number where she's walking through the city. The song's name is Belle. And it's just like she's talking about the town around her, and the townsfolk are all talking about how weird she is. And I think it just has some really excellent like chains of lyrics that happen back and forth.
One thing I'm noticing, Kara, is you have not had an animated movie. So are you going non-animated?
You'll have to find out.
I guess we'll find out, because it seems like you're pushing yourself, because I would have expected you to have all animated.
I would have expected that for myself too.
Okay. All right. Well, expectations aside, moving on to my number 4. All I'm left with is 4 and 2, because you've taken all of mine.
You're going to take another one of mine. Here we go.
Tim had a criteria of only having one studio production per pick. I'm grabbing another MGM. Tim.
It cost me so much not to put this on my list.
But give me a clue. You guys both know?
It goes from black and white to Technicolor.
Uh-huh.
That should be enough.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
It's not on here?
No, I don't like that movie.
What's wrong?
She just said a thing.
Okay, she said some things. I'm talking
it's
about
this kind of singing I don't like. I know.
19.
The
What do you mean?
good kind?
No,
They
it's
don't
just
sing. They don't do the singing. And
just sort of like-
in the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
1939 is the Wizard
there's
of
too
Oz.
much singing, like mixed in weird places.
But they don't do the thing that you don't like, which is the that they're just kind of talking.
Dorothy
singing
was just
everything.
off-putting. I don't know.
Judy Garland is off-putting.
So,
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe I'm not a small dog person.
I don't know.
So remember when I said that Beauty and the Beast had the best songs ever written for a movie?
Yeah.
This has the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Best
I agree with you on
songs.
Beauty and the Beast there as being pretty good. Second to my animated favorite. But
This one also has co-directors. Am I correct in this? Victor Fleming and George.
So this one
or uncredited?
had uncredited people who kept getting... Basically, it was a rough time in 1939 to be a good director, because David O. Selznick kept like sampling different people to make Gone with the Wind. So Victor Fleming made most of this movie, and then Selznick was like, "Hey Fleming, you're gonna make Gone with the Wind next." And MGM was like, King Vidor, you can do Things in Kansas, right?" And King Vidor was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, do the Things in Kansas. Thank you."
and here we are.
And
That feels like what happened.
That's exactly that's a transcript of the meeting that happened.
Classic.
feels
I went through and I watched some of these shots with the kids of the musicals that I have seen, and this one just still gets me. Like all of the songs, the dancing,
What's the main song?
the main song.
What's
We're
the-
off to
Somewhere Over
see
the Rainbow.
or
Oh, yeah,
Somewhere
Somewhere Over the
We're off to see
Rainbow.
The Wizard,
Yeah.
One for Wizard of
I like
Oz.
that remixed if you use a ukulele, but they didn't do that in that one. So,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll give some notes to
Are
the.
you doing a bit
I just really like that song.
with a ukulele?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Israel Kamakawi Ole.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's really good. It's
It is
beautiful.
really good.
I love
See?
that cover.
See, yeah.
Winner of 2 Oscars. Also, Lauren Girk Trainer also had this on. It's a classic. How's it not on your list, Karen?
Just never have liked
What else
it.
have you seen that's not animated that would be in
I
your
guess
list?
you'll have to find
we'll
out.
find
I mean, so far you've named 2 movies that are good,
I know. That's what I mean.
but I feel like we are dancing
The
on a
worst is-
tightrope over lava.
The worst is yet to come here. What?
No, it's getting better. It's getting better.
All I'm left with is my number 2. So,
So
you'll have to do
you
it
have
around.
3 musicals
I think so.
that are better than both Singin' in the Rain and The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This one is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Childhood favorite. Okay. Childhood favorites.
This is how how passive aggressive I'm feeling right now. You're making me like trot out a Midwestern accent when I say okay.
It's kind of Minnesotian over
That's
there.
because that's where people
It's
are
good
passive
to know what
aggressive.
you have under duress. You are twitching a bit. So this one, I expect Rob probably would love. Maybe not Tim. One of my childhood favorites, which brings us the classic song, "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow."
Nice little Annie.
Annie?
I couldn't remember Annie.
Annie, did you?
I've seen Annie.
It's a face.
I've seen Annie.
The film version of Annie, in which the director so famously hated Tomorrow that he endeavored to ruin the scene it was in so that the studio might cut it, and they were like, no, it's Tomorrow, and they stuck it in anyway.
It was such a good song. It's my mantra for life. My whole mantra, not on your list. It just makes us so upset. So, Annie. This is Annie. John Huston, Carol Sobieski, who did the Bourne Identity. 1988.
What are you going on about?
Carol Sobieski did the Bourne Identity, 1988's
The what?
version.
There's an 1988 version of the Bourne Identity?
Yeah, there is. It's a remake, actually. She also did Fried Green Tomatoes, which obviously means that she knows what she's doing. So this has Eileen Quinn as Annie. Albert Finney plays Daddy Warbucks because he's rich.
He does.
He has a lot of money.
He's really bad.
Carol Burnett's in this. Tim Curry, Bernadette Peters.
Tim Curry, Bernadette Peters, and Ryan King are the people who I'll be like, okay.
This is
I
literally
feel-
the best movie. So the cutest girl in the world lives at this terrible orphanage, and she gets selected part of like a PR thing to go and live with this rich guy, Daddy Warbucks, for a short period of time. But because she's so cute and sweet and everybody loves her, he decides to put out a reward to find her parents. But that leads to conflict because people want the reward. So fake people come and try to pretend to be her parents to get the reward. Conflict ensues, lots of singing.
Yep.
Lots of gestures with their arms, like the arm pump.
They're gesturing a lot with their arms
Yeah.
and calling it dancing.
This
That is
movie
definitely a
is
thing that happens.
joyful. This movie is a joyful. No?
I prefer Greatest Showman. I've seen this movie and I could not. Other than Tomorrow, like in the redhead tight curls.
You know what I do like in this movie? Edward Herrmann is a really good Franklin Roosevelt.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I kind of confuse Annie with Pippi Longstocking.
No, different
a little
ponytail?
bit.
Very
No, I understand.
different.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But, you know.
She's so cute, so sweet.
You know what I think the best thing about Annie is? It's not as like soul-destroyingly bad as the remake of Annie from like 2 years ago.
I can get that. Yeah.
Yes.
I would never have subjected myself to that, but yeah, I loved this as a kid.
Okay.
And only slightly better than Mary Poppins and Singin' in the Rain.
And apparently a chunk better than The Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz isn't in my top 10. So,
You didn't need to say that.
oh, sorry. I mean, it's like 7. So, teen. Okay, so that was my number 3. Lots of people are going to have that on theirs. Does that make it to your number 3?
It makes it to my number 3.
Don't look so sad.
I'm sad.
I know you're sad.
I'm
I'm going to
so
bring it
sad.
up. These last 2 are really snappy and good.
I mean, they're better than Annie, so the odds are pretty good. So we're going back to France.
Okay, of course, as it were.
And we're going almost all the way to the Umbrellas of Cherbourg, but we're not quite going to Umbrellas of Cherbourg. We are, however, going to the same director, Jacques Demy, to his next film.
The sequel?
No, I mean, it sort of takes place elliptically in the same universe,
Okay.
but it's not really a sequel. 1967's The Young Girls of Rochefort.
I've never heard of this.
You've heard of it because after you loved Umbrellas of Cherbourg, I said, since you loved this movie so much, you should probably see The Young Girls of Rochefort, which is
Did I
even
see that?
better. No,
Oh,
but you've
okay.
heard of it.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
You've heard of it from me.
Yes, I have.
So
Remind me.
basically, this is a movie set in the town of Rochefort, a seaside town in France, where 2 sisters, Delphine, played by Catherine Deneuve, and Solange, played by François Dorléac. I think I pronounced her last name right, and apologies to Mr. Dorléac if I did not. They are young girls from Rochefort, and they just want to find love. And one of them wants to leave. I think they both want to leave Rochefort. I don't know. Maybe one of them wants to stay, one of them wants to leave. It doesn't matter. They fall in love, and they sing about wanting to fall in love.
Which song?
French songs.
Is this subtitled too?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason it's not my number 1, because this is literally like my number 6 movie of all time. The reason it's not my number 1 is because the songs are sort of on purpose, very fun and buoyant and upbeat, but they're kind of in this like naturalist. It's very much like the Umbrellas of Cherbourg, where they're singing kind of in a realistic way. It's not sung through. Like Umbrellas of Cherbourg is just straight sung through. This does have numbers, but the songs aren't like, there's not the individual song that you're going to be like snapping your fingers as you leave the theater. It's more just like this sort of sense of like bubbly, girlish energy erupting in the form of they can't not sing because they're so happy being the young girls of Rochefort. It is like Umbrellas of Cherbourg, a tribute to Hollywood musicals. This one actually stars Gene Kelly.
Oh.
Dubbed weirdly. Like, it's really, really
he doesn't know
strange.
French.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not weird that he was dubbed. It's weird to hear Gene Kelly have like a very pleasant French baritone voice coming out of him rather than his kind of like adorably awful whining voice.
Right.
I love Gene Kelly, but his voice is, I can't even do it, but it's a weird voice. Anyway, he's in it. He dances really well.
Okay.
It's just about like this kind of being so happy to be alive that it just seems like life should be a musical.
Kind of like Annie.
Kind of like Annie.
Yeah.
Only not.
And Gene was up in the age.
He was getting there. He was
Right?
getting
How
there.
old?
Still looks great. Still dances great.
Well,
How old was he in Singing in the Rain?
Well, he was
15
born in
years younger than
1912.
he was in the
So
Rivers of
he was
Rochefort.
40. He's 40 in Singing in the Rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
He's a good looking 40.
Yeah.
Does he look at all, I might be losing my mind, does he look at all like a rich man's Dick Van Dyke?
I get where you're coming with that.
Yeah.
I saw it,
I'm
I'm
glad
like,
you
gosh.
went from that angle versus the. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Anyway, this is again a tribute to like Hollywood musicals as just this like pleasure factory. Unlike Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is this very sort of French tragic story that ends famously with this kind of everything has fallen apart.
Okay.
Rochefort ends with like, what is the most ridiculous contrivance we can come up with to make sure every single character is as happy as they could be? It's that. The end. And it's just like, it's just happy. It just ends on such a like,
Positive.
everybody won. All the conflicts
You don't
somehow resolved for
You don't
everybody.
usually like that. You usually like sadness and unresolution.
I don't usually like it because it's not usually made the best it has ever been done.
I see.
And that is
Okay.
this.
That's the caveat.
Young Girls of Rochefort, it's just pure French musical confection. It's gorgeous, great acting, and it's just it's every inch of it is just joy.
Not on your list, Rob?
Not on my list, and we're going to skip my number 2 because that's all I have left.
Okay.
And you're going to your number.
My number 2.
Your number 2.
My number 2. My number 2 brings me to the world of the best animated musical that's ever been made.
All right.
I know what it is.
You do?
I know you.
I don't know how well you know me.
Okay.
I like animation quite a bit. What do you think it is?
Little Mermaid.
It is The Little Mermaid because the seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You know what? That is the motto for everybody's lives that you should hold.
I just realized you've never sung this karaoke. We have the karaoke machine. You've never done this.
Oh,
one.
I should. I know
That's
I don't
totally
even need
your
the
song.
words. I
No,
know all
yeah.
the words.
Can we do an a cappella version of Under the Sea right now?
I'll need to like prepare myself a little bit, but maybe in an
Karen,
outtake.
look at this stuff.
Isn't it neat?
Don't you?
Wouldn't you think? No, I'm just kidding. I won't do it. But I love The Little Mermaid more than most things in this world. 1989. So this is Ron Clements. He wrote that. No, he directed that.
Yeah, Ron Clements and John Musker
Yeah.
co-wrote and co-directed.
Did they do other things together?
Yeah. How long do you want me to tell this part of the story?
Actually, it was just like a general question. Actually, I was just hoping you would.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Moana.
Oh, I actually also love Moana. So I'm not going to actually say what this is about, but I love The Little Mermaid. And
Good stuff. Great songs.
the songs
So many
will stick with
songs.
me for the rest of my lives. Girls love it. Stands the test of time. Love this movie.
The only literal
What's your reason for not having it?
that I like Beauty and the Beast more.
See, and I actually like The Little Mermaid story more, but I agree that the music is probably more complicated or whatever in Beauty and the
Although,
Beast.
I mean, it's not even that it's more complicated. I think it just tells the story better.
I agree.
Because I do think the numbers in The Little Mermaid are a little bit more showstoppery. It's like, okay, here's the plot, and now the crab sings.
Yeah, right.
Whereas in Beauty and the Beast, it's like, let me express how I feel while I'm throwing snowballs. I will say, Kiss the Girl has my favorite counter melody in Disney. And I know
So
that's
wait.
a dumb fucking thing
So,
to say.
but what do you mean? So say it.
So there's a melody,
Okay.
right? And it's, he's a da 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 be scared da 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 da.
Kiss the girl.
The counter melody is the thing that like isn't like against that, but it's sort of happening in the background of it.
Are you talking about the crickets? Like, ooh, in the back?
It's at the end. It's like when it's crescendoing and like all
Yeah.
of the different animals. I'm trying to remember which animals are the ones actually delivering the counter melody. I think it's the
frogs, because they're doing the bass.
The frogs have happened before that. I think it's the fish that pop out of the pelican to sing.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Oh, you know what? No, it's
They do that.
They do that, but that's not a counter. It's
Oh.
we can't like discuss musicology if we don't have the song in front of us. We'll listen to the song.
We'll listen to it offline.
There is a counter melody.
There is a counter melody and it's beautiful.
Love that. That was your top 5 kisses too. Was in
Yes.
that? We both had that in our top 5
Yes.
kisses. We agreed. So
I do
good.
think it's worth pointing out that this movie has vile sexual politics, but I do love this
I don't
film a lot.
actually know what they are, and I've never.
They
I don't
are
wanna know.
girls. If your boyfriend lives someplace else, give up your entire family and also potentially your voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But-
I mean, I
but
wouldn't say it's
also-
always. I wouldn't do it, but I will.
You won't care if your daughters do it.
Right. But I think he would have come to the sea for her too.
Because it doesn't matter what your voice or what's inside that matters. It's how pretty you are.
Oh,
And he'll like you. He'll
don't
like you
ruin
just
this
fine.
for me. Don't
No,
ruin
it's
this for
okay.
me.
No, I mean, like, I love this movie.
Yeah.
But Disney films don't have good sexual
It's
politics.
so old, too, yeah.
Because my Disney film was the one that has a lot of people saying, well, it's not exactly Stockholm Syndrome. So, like,
Right.
these are Problem
Things
City
to think.
USA.
Right,
That's
right.
fine, because they're great musicals, and they're pretty.
And that's my number 2.
All right.
What are you left with?
I'm only left with my number 2.
Okay.
I know.
Because some rampaging asshole decided that Singin' in the Rain wasn't the best musical of all time.
I know. That's like people call me that all the time. It's fine.
I get that. They should. My number 2, which was almost my number 5. Like I said, I was doing a lot of rearranging. My number 2 is my Busby Berkeley musical. That is the bucket I have plucked this one from. 1933's 42nd Street. This is my non-book musical.
it's called 42nd Street.
42nd Street is the name of the movie.
Okay.
It's about putting on a Broadway show. And the numbers we see are the numbers being performed in theory, although of course the secret here is because Busby Berkeley was the first he was the first person to stage musical numbers in movies, where he was like, if I wanted to stage musical numbers on stage, I would do that. What I want is to stage musical numbers in buildings on the MGM or the Warner Brothers backlet, in his case, the size of like airplane hangars. So not all of the numbers, most of the numbers, especially later in the film, are quote unquote part of a stage production, but they're really these elaborate, like, ballets almost, in which the camera's just like moving around, exploring space, seeing all kinds of stories playing out. Most notably, the title number, 42nd Street, which is this like grandiose epic of life among the bitterly poor of New York during the Depression. The camera's like going up into tenement windows and like ducking down to like not be seen by the people like shooting their lovers in tenements. It's this incredible just tour de force of like telling a story through music and sort of making the music land harder because of what the camera is just doing in space. Really, really incredible number. And it is very much like my love for the movie is my love for the number in a sense. Still a really great show. It's a backstage musical. Notable for being the film where Ginger Rogers sort of got noticed as a character named Anytime Annie Lowell, who was like...
What else is she in? Ginger Rogers. I feel like I've heard of her.
Many things. She's Fred Astaire's like primary dancing partner.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Didn't have a Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers musical on my list. I feel really bad about that.
What would you have picked if you did?
Swing Time.
Swing Time.
Anyway, this is like this great piece of Depression era filmmaking right before the production code came into effect. So it's like kind of naughty. It's naughty, bawdy, and gaudy. So to quote from the song, it's just a little dirty. It's a little violent. It's full of like the kinds of personalities that have to go into making a Broadway show, how ugly that is, how like creatively inspiring it can be. Just really solid piece of early 30s filmmaking that I think has maybe one of the most elaborate musical numbers you could imagine.
I just saw some still shots here on IMDb, and looks like some really beautiful shot setups. The camera through the legs, like everybody.
Oh, that's a Busby Berkeley thing. Like he does a few things in all of his movies. One is this like elaborate storytelling piece. So 42nd Street here, Shanghai Lil, Footlight Parade. He also does these wonderful numbers where it's like use the human body as geometry, basically. So like female legs is like just abstract triangles is a big thing. Overhead shots of people moving in like shapes that maybe evoke flowers, maybe evoke nothing at all.
Oh,
that's like a very common thing.
Rob's showing me a picture.
Yeah,
of legs.
he loved. I imagine this happens most of the nights in your marriage.
Harry, check out these legs.
Look at this leg. Here's something to aspire for.
Yeah, really
like,
beautiful
Show
shots.
me the ones with some cellulite. Oh,
like this is, I would say, the first truly great visual
those
musical.
are good legs.
They're great. I mean,
Yeah.
Busby Berkeley was not going to hire someone who didn't have good
Look at
legs.
those
Yeah.
shapes.
Yeah, that's a good
those
shape.
are people. Those are like dancers.
They're not duplicate. They all look like the same legs.
See, when I see
They are
this,
meant to.
the people swarming almost like in a synchronized swimming fashion, it reminds me a lot of what a movie like A Hail Caesar is paying homage to.
100%.
So now that I see that, I'm like, oh, now I see where Hail Caesar is getting its
Busby
stuff from.
Berkeley like defined a way of doing movie choreography for 30 years.
It's very nice.
That was your
years,
number
let's say.
2 then.
That is my number 2, and I'm done.
It sounds like you had a good list there.
I had
Sounds
a great
like you
list
love
there.
musicals.
I love musicals a lot.
Yeah.
I love them so much that I could have done another 5 using nothing else, and it would have still been better.
So
regardless.
no,
Your list is it would have actually included at least one film on your list.
See?
It would have not included Annie.
But everything else.
Everything else. Annie is like sticking out on your list.
Really? I just loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the songs. Anyway.
And
so
my number 2 brings us more to a modern fare again. I started off with modern. I'm going to close with modern at my number 2. Kara, I have a suspicion this could be your number 1.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why do you think it is my number 1?
Because I thought you enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It is a musical.
Why did I enjoy it, Rob?
Because you liked it a lot.
Because this is the story of my life.
Story of your life. Well, this may not be the movie.
Oh.
I don't know if it is.
Okay.
Are you navigating your career in Los Angeles as a pianist or an actress?
Yeah.
We fall in love and then
Yeah.
reconcile and
Yeah.
La
Keep
La
telling me
Land?
more about it. Yeah.
How is this story of your life?
This is exactly what happened to me in my life.
with who else?
I mean, we
With
were
who
working
else?
corporate America jobs in Chicago, but
this
happened
doesn't-
to
So
me.
this is not in any way, shape, or form the story of your
But
life.
I still had kind of a
Do
similar
you remember the
conflict.
time that you had to decide not to marry Rob because it was more important to you in that moment to pursue your career?
No, but that's the thing. I made the other choice, and I pursued Rob
Oh,
instead.
so you're the sliding
You're
doors
Ryan
the
Gosling.
other way.
No, you're
So
Ryan Gosling.
you're that random guy who is only in the final scene, and we kind of hate him because he's not Ryan Gosling.
No, but that's not that he's not.
Rob
in the
is. Rob
picture.
is that guy.
No, Rob is Ryan Gosling. I made the Ryan Gosling choice. You're like the unwise, risky, unstable
Rob
choice.
does want to be a professional musician at the expense of his family.
Totally.
So that I do.
Very
Completely.
true.
He would give everything away.
But Tim,
for his dreams.
I know it's you have quite a few other movies to pick from, but from a modern day musical perspective, have not seen it better.
No, I agree.
I just
Tim loves
I
20
think
years.
that you don't need to go
30
past
years.
1960 to get literally 100 great musicals. So
But did you give this 5 stars? How many stars did you give? 4.5.
I wobble between 4 and 4.5.
You landed at 4.5.
But when you go past the 80s onward, good musicals between the 80s and now compared to La La Land. Because again, I started watching movies
it's the best,
in the 80s.
It's the best live action musical of the century, for sure.
Oh, well, good.
It's just I
Wait,
like musicals from
So-
musicals from the 50s better.
Okay, no, fair enough. And that's where my blind spot is still not having seen enough of these.
Well, it's too bad somebody didn't give you a stack of
I know.
DVDs of free unit
Well, you
musicals
watched
so you could
so
watch
many
them.
of them.
We gave Moulin Rouge
You
a
watched
shot, man.
Moulin Rouge
We're
I
not
watched.
talking
We can
about
talk
Moulin
that
Rouge. We're
You
not
didn't say it had.
Maybe-
What's her face with the red hair?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. Now you're
She's on the cover
That was
of the
also
DVD.
in my criteria. At the very beginning, I was like,
What are the
Rob,
criteria
I was
that
like,
it can't
Rob.
have Nicole Kidman
I go,
in it?
Rob, is this Amy Adams? Rob's just shaking his head. I'm like, oh. And then it was Nicole Kidman.
If we ever do a top 5 movies that define my personality and speak to my soul, we can talk about why you don't like Moulin Rouge as much as I do.
Right.
Well, this is winner.
Excellent pick.
Nice. We lined up on 4 out of 5, I think, or 3 out of 3
Nice.
out
That
of 5.
doesn't say a lot, but yeah.
Won 6 Oscars. Brendan Kline, Alex Frith also had La La Land. It's the modern day musical. Excited to see
Emma
what else
Stone,
Damien.
Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
Well,
Rosemary
his
DeWitt.
next movie is going to be a toe-tapping
musical.
showstopper about flying to the moon.
Yeah, they'll break out into song and
They
dance there.
won't do
No,
that.
they won't at all.
Best movie
Yeah.
that I've seen in
Pretty
years
solid
and
list. I
years
was a
and
little
years.
worried, Care. I
Were
was a
you?
little worried.
I got to be honest, I was petrified, and you only made me feel like a knife had just been plunged into my guts once.
Oh, just the once.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Twice
good.
if we count the relative ranking of Singin' in the Rain.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel you there. But it definitely wasn't quite as good as Annie, so there's that.
I get that.
But
that.
yeah, I feel good about this list. I don't
Nice
think
job.
people are going to send me hate mail. I don't think, maybe.
But if you do,
Possibly.
Carrie at alternate ending.
Carrie at alternateending.com.
Right.
A reminder that Singin' in the Rain is the best musical of all time, and Annie was made by someone who talked in the media about how much he hated Annie.
Well, every week we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on the results, here are your top 5 picks. Three-way tie at number 5, Meet Me in St. Louis.
You know, it's a real damn pity that you guys didn't
It's one
I
of
know
the,
it's not streaming, so I don't know how you would have watched Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I do.
You did.
We only had a week.
Oh, but you know what? It has Judy Garland in it, so Carrie would have thought it was shit.
Oh, thanks for, good thing we always skip
Also
that.
tied for number 5, Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz.
Small dog.
Along with Mary Poppins.
All right.
See?
Tapping into the audience here. Tied at number 2 at number 4, The Sound of Music, which I just can't for the life of me remember.
That's Julie Andrews.
I know bits, but
it's about the Nazi takeover of Austria.
No, I know.
song.
One of
I
my
just
best
can't
friends,
remember
that's her favorite
if I liked
movie
it
of
or
all
not.
time, and she despises me for not loving that movie.
I don't despise you for not loving that movie.
Okay, well, good. So
Cabaret.
We aren't talking
All
about
right,
Moulin
let's leave it
Rouge.
there. Just leave it there.
Cabaret also at number 4.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I
need to see
thought
that.
about Cabaret.
Okay.
I need to see that.
That was part
Also
of the-
about Nazis.
Oh, is
musicals
it?
about Nazis seem to be clustering nicely together.
Yeah.
Okay. First horror movie here, kind of, if you want to count this, Little Shop of Horrors at number 3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have. It would not have made an end run for my list, but I do like it quite a lot.
Did make your list, Tim, number 2.
Also, by the way, a Howard Ashman and Alan Menken joint. So, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and also Little Shop.
Okay.
See? That's where they eat the people.
I know what it
There's
is.
meat pies, but they're actually humans inside the pies.
That's Sweeney Todd.
I know.
Okay.
Little Shop is about the plants that eat people.
I know. Keep going.
Yeah. Number 2 is Beauty and the Beast. So Tim made your list there. And
right.
then number 1, as it should be, Singing in the Rain.
Yep.
All right.
Probably number 1 by just a stupid
By
lopsided.
a hair.
It is
Just by a hair.
lot, by a landslide. Our lucky winner this week is, in fact, our very own contributor, Becca Stewart. No conflict of interest there. But
None. No one's
But
going
at least
to
people know
complain
we're
about
honest
this.
then
Yes.
about the submissions.
Becca had Pitch Perfect, The Greatest Showman, as I mentioned before, Wizard of Oz, Les Mis, and The Sound of Music on her list. Becca, shoot us an email. You know where to find us because you've been sending us your writing. So thank you for that. For
I
details,
just want to throw out there because, musicals are good. I teach the editing in Pitch Perfect as an example of modern editing in editing in modern musicals.
okay.
So, yeah, good
So you're a fan of the editing then?
it's typical.
Okay. I don't
So
know
no.
how to read that. If you want to win a free movie like Becca, send us some writing or just enter in our contest. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Be on the lookout for a spoiler.
Also, you can give us $5 and we'll give you $5 back, but you'll get to hear your name said online.
Be on the lookout for a spoiler or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. On social media, go out to our Facebook page and like it. Twitter, we're tweeting all the time. Alternatending.com, where you'll find all of our blogs, podcasts, reviews, and more. Speaking of contributors, I think we have 3 or 4 contributors providing some content this week.
We're gonna have a very busy week. Everyone wanted to write about Mamma Mia, which seems sad to me.
But I'm excited about the pieces of content that they have. So be sure to go out on our website.
Good essays
check it out.
about a shit movie.
And don't forget about our Patreon. With Mission Impossible Fallout hitting theaters this weekend.
With Mission Impossible Fallout falling into theaters.
Falling from the sky.
That
That's
should
good.
be your.
That's my bet.
No, because I was saying Fallout falling into.
Zip lining.
They're backwards. So we'll workshop this pun before next week.
Got it.
Tethering. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Halo jumping.
Halo
its way
jumping
into
is
theaters.
what we're trying to get to somehow.
Oh, okay. I see
One
what
of Tim and mine's most anticipated movies of the summer, as well as one filled with amazing acrobatics and whatnot.
As well as one that has gotten some very hype-increasing reviews this week.
I know, I'm pretty excited. We wanted to look at our top 5 stunts, so we will catch you then.